Nearly a year since the governor nixed a plan to bring the old armory back to life. That followed an embarrassing episode for the administration with out-of-town developers.
So what is happening with the Cranston Street Armory now? The I-Team's Brian Crandall has an update. Brian?
Well, Patrice and Jean, not much is happening, at least not publicly. That's the bottom line, and that's caused some frustration for neighborhood leaders after Governor Dan McKee, in a high-profile move, scrapped the last redevelopment concept that was hatched before he took office. Imposing and unique, the massive Cranston Street Armory cuts an iconic outline in Providence. Nearly 120 years old, its future has been a question mark for the last 3 decades. A question that seemed to be headed toward an answer before the last plans met a high-profile demise last summer.
Sad to see it sitting empty.
Siobhan Callahan has lived nearby for more than 20 years and leads the West Broadway Neighborhood Association.
We're really disappointed. This neighborhood has been waiting for something to happen with the Armory for almost 30 years.
That was when the National Guard left the Armory. Since then, the state has housed some offices there years ago. Some movies were filmed inside, including earlier this year, and it was a homeless warming shelter a couple winters ago. In 2020, under Governor Gina Raimondo, Philadelphia company Scout won the bidding process to begin planning for the Armory redevelopment, with ideas for small businesses, nonprofits, and activity space. The deal burst into public view last spring when Scout executives accused 2 top state officials of boorish and demanding behavior on a trip to see one of their other projects. McKee cut ties with Scout months later, but said it didn't have anything to do with the Philly trip mess. Instead, the governor, who long seemed unenthusiastic about the Scout plan, pointed to an analysis that put the redevelopment cost north of $70 million.
It became clear that the proposal put too much risk on Rhode Island taxpayers.
When McKee announced he was terminating the Scout contract, he said the state was talking to the city about taking ownership of the Armory. But the city wants $45 million to fix the place up. Since then, crickets.
We were really excited when Scout was chosen through a really transparent process to be the developer. They seem to have a really community-centered idea for the space that we appreciated. And since that all fell apart, it's been really kind of sad to see that the state isn't moving forward.
A spokesman for the State Department of Administration, which oversees the building, tells me discussions around the future of the Cranston Street Armory are ongoing. In the budget just signed by McKee, lawmakers slashed $6 million over 3 years in maintenance money that the governor's team proposed setting aside for the Armory, including $2 million in unspent money from the current year. Instead, there's just under $1.5 million budgeted for the building over the next 5 years. The state has already spent about $4.7 million on maintenance at the Armory over the last decade.
It's disheartening. Again, this could be such a beautiful space for the community to come together.
Now, the Providence mayor's office tells me also that the city remains in conversations with the state regarding ownership of the Cranston Street Armory and that it anticipates the process to be ongoing. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.